Hi, I'm Anna Figueroa, and I'm going to be talking about the history of Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper, one of the finest soft drinks invented in the world. In 1881, a young pharmacist named Charles Allerton created and founded this drink. With its unique flavor, it's hard to resist. For more than 130 years, Dr. Pepper has been present on store shelves today. It has been considered the oldest drink in history. Charles Allerton founded Dr. Pepper in the lab he worked for. You heard it right, from his job. In 1885, for the first time ever, he served his products to his coworkers. As he received good feedback, he continued to work his way to have it become an official product. It was until 1904 that Dr. Pepper was officially recognized in North America as a product. It is now served all over the nation and other parts of the world as an imported product. Not only did it keep many people reminiscing their memories since then, but has brought pride to know that a soft drink was developed in their community. On July 9th of 2018, Keurig and Dr. Pepper collaborated together in acquiring an $18.7 billion deal. This has allowed for them to expand their company furthermore. They're committed to sourcing, producing, and distributing beverages responsibly through their Drink Well Committee. Keurig Dr. Pepper corporate responds well to their efforts in circular packaging, natural resources, and supply chain sustainability. They are known for being one of the leading beverage companies in North America and first to bring hot and cold beverages together at scale. Lastly, they enter their work in 4 different areas: environment, supply chain, health and well-being, and last but not least, communities.
Now known as Keurig Dr. Pepper, the company is a part of a massive industry containing many components. When analyzing this company, it is important to see what other businesses they have adopted, like Snapple, Keurig, Fiji Water, Sunny Delight, Big Red, and a couple of others into their daily factory distributions. Overall, their day-to-day operations consist of making beverages, creating new marketing strategies, and distributing these beverages across the United States, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Canada. To keep up with their intense market, they have 22 manufacturing companies, 100 plus warehouses, and around 21,000 employees. Keurig Dr. Pepper outshines its competitors because they sell both hot and cold drinks, which allows them to be more flexible and have a greater variety than its competitors that just sell cold carbonated beverages. All of the companies they have purchased and partnered with, however, can be broken down into 2 sectors. The first is the soft drink industry, and the second is the beverage appliance manufacturing industry, with the soft drink industry being the more prominent of the 2. This industry consists of daily operations like marketing, production, and distribution of carbonated beverages. In contrast, the beverage appliance manufacturing industry creates portable systems for both at-home and in business facilities to make warm drinks. Despite the popularity and profitability of the soft drink industry, Keurig Dr. Pepper and its competitors don't have much to worry about in terms of new competitors, since their combined market share is so high that trying to enter the market and compete against the highly brand loyal consumers would be nearly impossible. The large-scale production of the companies also allows for their products to be sold at a moderately low price, which deters other new competitors from creating anything more than niche beverages, since most companies don't have the funds to enter such a mass-producing market.
Dr. Pepper has been in a fight with their competition for over 100 years. Dr. Pepper, Coke, and Pepsi were originally created and experimented with in the late 1800s. Since this point, the 3 have battled for the top soft drink spot. Coke has taken over the global market in this time. Dr. Pepper comes in with about 25,000 employees, while Coke and Pepsi have a combined 350,000. Coke and Pepsi's valuations are each around $200 billion, while Dr. Pepper's is less than half. What does this mean? Dr. Pepper is up against 2 giants in the beverage industry. Coke and Pepsi have been the top 2 soda producers for over 100 years, and Coke is the most popular soft drink worldwide. Dr. Pepper also competes against Red Bull and other drink companies to quench your thirst. Companies like Red Bull have developed ingenious marketing strategies, whereas seemingly every crazy sport or event you've seen is sponsored by them, while Coke and Pepsi have commercials every time your program takes a break. With such a competitive market, Dr. Pepper has had to innovate in multiple ways in order to gain market share and to compete on an even tier with these mega brands. To do this, they've had to match these brands in marketing and advertising. Since 2008, Dr. Pepper has increased money spent on advertising in the US by a little under $200 million, increasing by about 35% from before. The company has also acquired brands such as Keurig, helping to increase market share in the industry.
During our research process, we interviewed Mr. Timothy Loudon. Mr. Loudon is a regional operations manager for the Michigan Mid-South region of the United States. Pre-COVID times, Mr. Loudon's typical day entailed traveling to different warehouses across his region in order to ensure that safety protocol is being handled correctly by the managers there. The safety protocol is very important because of the amount of product that these employees pick per day. According to Mr. Loudon, an average employee picks 160 cases per hour. Multiply that by 10 hours and 40 pounds per case. This equals about 30 tons of product per day per employee. The safety protocol helps ensure that there is less turnover due to injury, as well as it minimizes any excess costs due to workers' compensation. Another major part of Mr. Loudon's role is the efficiency of distribution of the company. In his region, Mr. Loudon works with a team of highly skilled individuals, as well as uses advanced distribution software in order to create the most efficient routes possible for his truck drivers. For example, Mr. Loudon has to take an average truck driver's 8-hour shift and maximize the amount of stops that he can make. While maximizing the amount of stops he can make, he also has to minimize the amount of gas used, as well as minimize the amount of idle time for the truck driver, as well as minimize the amount of overtime used by the driver. Mr. Loudon's role as a regional operations manager falls directly into the tall organizational structure of Keurig Dr. Pepper. This tall organizational structure is very important to the company because of the amount of control and coordination it takes to deliver millions of product across the globe. Each hierarchical level has its own set of goals and its own set of challenges that it faces. The hierarchical levels help delegate a lot of the roles for those challenges to many people, which makes it easier. These hierarchical levels can also be broken down into geographical levels, as we see in Mr. Loudon's job as the regional operations manager of the Michigan Mid-South region. This allows for a lot more communication in these specified organizational areas and allows for a much more efficient way of work. Because Keurig Dr. Pepper is an expensive company, it also follows a management by objective policy, which means that the senior management establishes the goals at the beginning of the year, and these goals go through each level of hierarchy. Each level puts their own tips and tricks on the goals, but at the end of the day, the whole company is working towards the same objectives. The end goal is that everybody in the organization completes these objectives by the end of the year.
Mr. Loudon's job is not only to adhere to the goals set before him by upper management, however, it is also his job to comply with the company's organizational culture, which he can attest is built on mutual respect, excellent communication, and holding people accountable. Keurig Dr. Pepper is a great example of following McGregor's theory why, since they believe that employees will do good for the company if given the chance, and that it's in a manager's job to provide these opportunities to them. Mr. Loudon in his interview even went so far to state that he doesn't think of himself as the boss of his employees, but instead is more of a consultant, there to lead his team members to success and ensure they're properly following company procedure as a partner, rather than a big me old boss who tells them exactly what to do all the time, as someone would if they followed Theory X. Now, in order to reinforce these goals and motivate the employees to complete them, the company has multiple positive reinforcement strategies that it implements. Now, some are in the form of extrinsic rewards, such as promotions and bonuses, and others in the form of intrinsic rewards, such as getting a good job from your boss, or even being recognized in the company's weekly newsletter. If, however, after numerous training sessions, coaching, and one-on-one conversations, an employee is still unable to meet the performance standards required by Keurig Dr. Pepper, then they experience a negative reinforcement strategy in the form of a write-up called a performance improvement plan that blatantly states out the objectives a person must meet within a certain period of time. If, however, a person is unable to meet these objectives, then unfortunately they will experience another reinforcement strategy called punishment, and the employee and the company will have to part ways. In the interview, however, Mr. Loudon stressed the importance of using positive reinforcement to lift people up and keep job satisfaction high, with the first step to always be to sit down with the employee one-on-one and find out how he himself as a manager can make their lives easier. It is this obvious desire to attract and motivate others that exemplifies Mr. Loudon's position as both a good manager and a good leader. While not all managers are leaders, his concentration and focus on the continuous future success of the company, as well as his passionate descriptions of his colleagues and demonstrations of how he uses his expert and referent power to convince people to follow him, that exemplifies the characteristics of a person in a leadership position. Mr. Loudon continues to express how much he loved working with people, making their lives better, and building the relationships that help the company run effectively and efficiently. A closing piece of advice he gives to students entering the managerial world is to always be willing to learn something new and to never get stuck in your ways. His career was shaped by his willingness to step out of his comfort zone and into a position that was brand new to him, and he has since found a passion that he's not intended for. So, to all the managerial students out there, follow his advice, learn something new, and let it change your life.
Piece of advice would be always be willing to learn something new. Don't get set in your ways. Don't just think, okay, I made it, now I'm here, this is all I'm going to do. No, there is a place for everybody. When you get to that place, maybe you don't want that next promotion. I know people that are like, and I'm one of them, I don't necessarily need to be a vice president, right? It would be nice, but I see what they go through. I kind of like what I'm doing, which is great, but it took me a lot to get here, and it took a lot of learning. And you always have to be willing to learn something new, right? If someone's willing to teach you something, take it and run with it.